Multi-award-winning Sydney-based singer-songwriter Hayley Jensen is a two-time Country Music Association of Australia Golden Guitar finalist for Female Artist of the Year and the recipient of the Independent Country Music Awards Most Popular Female Artist Trophy for 2024. She was a top 4 finalist on the second season of Australian Idol and later made a chair-turning return to the small screen on The Voice, where she was dubbed the whole package by her coach, none other than Kylie Minogue. Her latest release, Stomping Ground, that you heard just a minute ago, surpassed over 110,000 streams and counting on Spotify in less than 2 weeks. And her fourth studio album, Breaking Heart, shot to the top of the ARIA charts to be the number 1 country album, number 1 Australian country album, number 4 Australian all genres, and number 25 album overall. Not a bad effort. It also debuted as the number 1 iTunes country album. Now, on top of her own releases in the past 12 months, Hayley also featured on 2 chart-topping collaborations with Canadian country artists, those being Really Shouldn't Drink Around You with Dan Davidson and Flirtin' with Manitoba-based band Petrick, a track that was added to the Fresh Country playlist and had chart success on Billboard Canada. Touring extensively, Hayley has graced festival stages across Australia and internationally, including the 2018 Buckle and Boots Country Music Festival in the UK, along with Calgary Stampede and Dauphin's Country Fest in Canada the following year. After 2 decades in the industry, Hayley is at an all-time high and has fortified her place as a leading act in the Australian music landscape, and she continues to make headway internationally. What has never changed, though, is her powerhouse vocals, her authentic songwriting, and her down-to-earth nature. I'm truly honoured to have Hayley patiently standing by on the phone, waiting to have a chat with me. So let's bring her on air. Let's bring this extremely talented songstress on air without any further delay. Hello, Hayley. How are you?
Hello, I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction.
Oh, you've earned it.
Nice to be reminded of some of the things that you've done over the times. You tend to forget when you're future focused.
Well, you may forget, but we don't.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And welcome again to the Country Club. It's not the first time I've had you on the show, but it's always delightful to be able to talk to you.
It's lovely to be back, and I really, really appreciate you taking the time to have a chat with me and talk about my music and all things happening in that, that part of my life.
No problem whatsoever. On that note, tell us a little bit about Stomping Ground. Did you write that alone, or was it a co-write?
It was a co-write, this particular song. I wrote it with the chap who produced my last album, Breaking Hearts, which you mentioned in your intro, Troy Cokel, and another Canadian artist, but she's based in Nashville and is releasing music in America, and her name is Ali, A-L-E-E, and she's got some great songs out there too, but hasn't really released much in Australia, so we haven't heard much of her over here, but she's fantastic, and she's a great, country pop songwriter. So we got together and wrote this little song about, about your local stomping ground, your local place that you like to hang out, where all your friends are, and you can have fun, let your hair down, play a bit of air guitar on the bar, and sing the song, and just have a good old time. So really stoked with how this song has done. You mentioned streaming numbers in the intro. It's now had over 300,000.
Wow.
20,000 streams across, that's Spotify alone, let alone the other platforms, which is just amazing. And I've had wonderful support from radio like yourself. And, it's a wonderful feeling when you work so hard on a song and all the bits and pieces that go together with it and put it out there into the world, and it's received in such a great way. So.
And you must have had quite a good well, as usual. I mean, you work with the top echelon of musicians, but you must have had some great people working with you on that project.
Yeah, well, actually, I sort of changed up my production team a little bit in this this new song, and with quite a bit of the new music that I'm producing, I've changed my whole team really in the last year or so, which has been a bit of it's always an interesting challenge when you've been working with the same people, labels, all that kind of thing for years, and then it just sort of sometimes things come to a natural ending, and you feel like it's time to move along and change things up. So released this song independently on my own label, and I was working with the production team at M Squared. So they've worked with great artists like Casey Barnes, Hayley, Taylor Moss, James Johnson.
Wow.
You name it. They're kind of really out there at the forefront of producing, the top Australian country music at the moment. And I thought I want to be part of that because, I think to be working amongst people that are at the top of their game, it just lifts the whole project up. So I had a really fun time with them bringing this song to life, and indeed a whole lot of new music. We're actually working on a new album for next year as well together. So it's been really exciting to, work with this new team. And part of that too was I'd previously been working with my producer in Canada, and that sort of came about through COVID, where I intended to go over there to work with him, but we all got locked down, and so I ended up just recording my vocals and everything in my home studio here in Sydney and sending them over to Canada, and he would produce up the music and send it back, and then I'd provide feedback and send it back, and he'd fix and change things and add things and send it back. And it was a real iterative kind of back and forth sort of process. But being, and I loved that, it was an exciting way to work. But
because every little change brings an improvement.
Right, exactly. But then, it had been so long since I'd actually been in the studio with the producers working on my music, and we did the last album and quite a few songs with my producer in Canada. And then I thought going forward, we're not limited by that anymore. So actually being able to be in the room with the producers and making decisions on the spot, and it was a really exciting environment to just kind of work in that way, and having a song finished in a week or two rather than month or two was kind of a refreshing sort of experience as well. So, and just being in the room with these people that have such great ideas and being able to, exchange and collaborate in that way was really fun as well. So it's all, different ways to, create music, and so it's been fun.
And the result is on the board, because there's no doubt that's a great song and beautifully produced, and...
I just feel like they did. They really did it justice. They kind of heard and felt the essence of the song, and musically were able to capture all of the things that lyrically we were trying to say and get across, and that sort of brings it all together nicely.
But you're no stranger to the US. You've toured there, and
I've done a little bit of touring in the US. I've done a bit more in Canada.
Yeah.
And that was all kind of, I guess, off the back of heading over there to play at the Calgary Stampede and Dolphins Country Fest, and they were about a month apart. And so in between those two, I headed over and did a bunch of dates in between the two festivals as we road tripped across the country, which was really cool.
Yeah.
It's always fun to play, to in different parts of the world, and it's, I guess it's really rewarding and refreshing when you go there and people love your music as well. And I ended up releasing quite a few songs to the Canadian country music market as well, which did really well over there, and across the whole of North America in the States as well, which was, it's just, been pretty amazing to see your songs, that you record the vocals in your lounge room, home studio, in inverted commas, and playing on American radio. It's crazy.
Wow. that would be a real buzz. I can't imagine,
total trip.
Yeah.
Pinch yourself moments.
Yeah, I reckon.
What this music industry is all about, though, I guess.
Yeah. And look, just quickly, I have to say, at a personal level, as a radio presenter, I get sent so much music, from different people, and a lot of new stuff from Nashville, and all too often I listen to it and I say, no, I can't really play that because it's too poppy, you know what I mean? It's not really country enough, but the stuff coming out of Canada is absolutely gold, I rarely knock back a track from anyone from Canada lately. It's really, really good country.
They've got a really good mix. They're kind of, I guess they are very much trying to compete with the American market as well and stay relevant in that space.
Yeah.
But I think they also don't lose their own essence. As to your point, I think a lot of the artists coming out, they're trying to really keep their own essence and keep true to that, to country music. And and it's nice that there's so many similarities between the two cultures, between Australia and Canada. And I think, so musically and when we collaborate, it kind of feels like a really natural partnership.
I get that. And it comes across, in the product that comes our way. It's just really, really good stuff. I mean, nowadays when I see, this is a Canadian country artist, I'm there. You know what I mean? I want to hear what they got because
for sure. It's a really cool space, and Dan Davidson's kind of leading the way with a whole lot of that, and the boys from Petrick have released a bunch of hits out here too. We've got, Jess Moskaluk has done duets with Travis Collins, and we're seeing more and more of these collaborations happening, and I think certainly it's a great thing for us and them, and to kind of open up pathways to expand markets and just get our music broadly out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I really am impressed with the country Canadian country artists that are currently.
It's cool. It is a really cool space. So I think we're only going to hear more and more from them, I think, coming out here.
I hope so.
The only tricky thing is that they let us play on their stations too. They're a bit more protective of their turf than we are, I think.
Oh, that's good. That's good because
it's a good thing for them.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I'm playing more and more.
Take a leaf out of their book in our commercial radio station.
Okay.
Community radio always, of course, beautifully supportive of Australian music and content, and it's always it's interesting seeing the different ways that the industries work and all that sort of thing too.
Yeah, it's look, it's a good thing. I think it's healthy, for, as far as country music goes.
For sure.
Yeah,
as I say, it's it only expands our, I guess, what we're listening to and taking in, and it's a wonderful thing to be exposed to and have access to a variety of different, artists and music and stories and songs, sounds from all over the world. So it's, we love it here, of course.
Yeah, and the technology is there to allow for it nowadays. So why not?
Exactly.
Why not take
That's
advantage
right. You don't need to ship a record across the seas and overdrives anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Oh dear. Yeah, it's the landscape has changed a lot over the years. I mean, even the way people buy their music nowadays. You know what I mean? It's just very different to what it was, 10 or 15 years ago.
That's right. If they buy it at all, just license and stream it or what have you. But it is extremely different to when when I started in music 20 years ago. Even it was just kind of on the precipice of changing from being records and there was no social media back then. There was nothing like that. So it's certainly changed.
I remember the first record I bought when I was a young teenager. It cost me 10 shillings, and
yes,
I bought it, and it was in Coles.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Back, I say. Back.
Yeah. And it was a single, you know.
Yeah.
So, I took that home and I just flogged it to death, you know.
Yeah, until the needle burnt through. And,
yeah. Yeah, we had one of those old record players, played 78s and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and Dad had a whole bunch of those old Bakelite albums, you know. That were out in the 40s or whatever, so, I've got fond memories of all that. But
oh, absolutely. We actually still have a record player at home. It was my dad's record player.
Okay.
And when he passed away, my husband got it sort of repaired, and he had it sitting in a cupboard somewhere. Obviously, hadn't listened to it for years and years. And but I had fond memories of us listening to it when I was a kid, and so my husband got it all reconditioned for me, and
good.
So we've got his wonderful record collection sitting here at home too. And every now and again, we'll pull out a record and open a bottle of red, and it's a beautiful experience. It's a lot more than just chucking on a playlist on Spotify or something like that. It's got a real lovely feeling about it.
And it's a nice way. It's a nice way to sit down and enjoy some music. As you say, with a nice bottle of red or whatever. Good stuff. Now, I'm really interested in touching on this. We haven't got a lot of time left, but I just want to quickly talk to you about you did a gig. Now, this is unusual. You did a show at Atacama Desert in Chile.
Oh, that wasn't a show. That was just pure holiday.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
I've literally just got back from 3 weeks of a wonderful holiday. Hubby and I went to the Atacama Desert in Chile and saw the flamingos and crazy, Chilean deserts, and it was amazing, the landscape in that part of the world, cactuses and amazing. And then my husband is from Belgium, so we went to Belgium to spend some time with his family there, and then we ended up in Japan for a few days, and we went to see the little snow monkeys.
Oh, okay.
So it was a very odd adventure in terms of the collection of activities, but it was really, really fun. So, we just got back on Thursday. So
really? Okay.
Wednesday night, actually. So,
okay.
Yes. So straight back into it.
All right. Okay. It's good stuff. It's just that's not something you come across every day when you.
No, it's not.
when you research people, for an interview, So I thought I'd hate to bring it up because
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I do highly recommend if anybody's thinking of visiting Chile. It's a little bit off the beaten track to get to the Atacama Desert, but it was really spectacular visually, and I think I've got a few things on my Instagram and Facebook and stuff about the adventures. But my husband loves travelling and finding interesting places to go and people to see and all that sort of thing. So I am the lucky one that gets to tag along and enjoy the adventures.
He's a man of my own heart. I envy him.
It is pretty special.
Yeah, I get that, and I'm envious. So, but look, unfortunately, we're out of time, Hayley. And I'm sorry about that, but I would love to keep talking with you for a long time yet, but I have to wind it up. But I'm sure we'll have another chance, not too far down the track, to have another conversation on the phone.
Yeah, I really look forward to that, and I just once again thank you so much for playing my music and supporting my music on your show, and the country club, and it's a real honour and privilege, something that I'll never take for granted, the support that we receive as an independent artist and from people like yourself, Harry. So thank you so much. Oh,
look, you're more than welcome. It's an absolute privilege to be able to talk with a an artist of your great calibre, and I mean that. I'm not, I'm not being boasting or anything like that.
Thank you.
It's and I do appreciate you taking the time to have a chat with me on the phone.
The feeling is mutual.
Look, it's a symbiotic relationship. You make the music, I play it. So.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
We'd be lost without you.
And vice versa, my friend, vice versa.
All right, talk to you again soon, Hayley, and thank you again. And look after yourself and take it easy.
You stay warm, my friend down there in Melbourne. Rug up.
Okay, yeah, we will. All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye-bye.